Conflict is like death. Oh my God, that's a dramatic start. It's inevitable. It hurts the people that you love. And if you don't deal with it properly, it will hurt a whole lot more than it has to. Today, we will break down the 4 awful truths about conflict. According to Michael Deuce, in his course, The Art of Conflict Management, there are 4 awful truths about conflict. I think accepting these 4 is a very solid, introduction if you would like to start improving your way of handling conflicts. So let's not waste time. The first one is that it will happen. It's inevitable. It's as simple as that. And people, especially couples, seem to romanticize the idea that a conflict-free relationship is ideal. No! If a couple hasn't had a fight, it does not mean that there hasn't been conflict. There has been, because conflict is just a difference of opinion. One of them just decided that it wasn't worth fighting about and backed down instantly, which is a shitty idea as it will lead to built-up resentment. Speaking from experience, unfortunately. The second one is that it comes with risks and it comes with costs. When you disagree with someone, it comes with a risk. And that risk can be the size of an ant or a kaiju. That's why so many people try to avoid conflict. I think that most people that are afraid of conflict, which is something I've struggled with as well, they're afraid of the risks, not the actual conflict. You don't want to bring up that you didn't like the way someone talked to you because you're afraid of the risks that comes with that, which might be that the other person gets mad and defensive and you get into a fight and you don't talk for a while or something. So there will always be risks, and there will actually pretty much always also be a cost. It might be something really tiny, that you have to change a certain behavior that you don't really mind changing. Maybe something you weren't even aware that you were doing. Or something bigger, like having a girlfriend that doesn't like your friends and wants you to stop seeing them, so you have to choose between her or your friends. Then the cost is losing your girlfriend or your friends. Losing this one hypothetical girlfriend seems like more of a price than a cost though. But you get what I mean. So conflict is inevitable and it deals damage in the form of risks and costs. The third one, which is where it really gets interesting, is that the damage that happens results not so much from the actual conflict, the difference, but more from the dysfunctional strategies that we use when we approach the problem. Most conflicts aren't at all as bad as they seem when looking at the desolation that might follow. Sometimes we can see conflicts we have as devastating to the relationships of the people involved. But most times it's not the actual conflict that's the problem. It's the fact that we're fucking idiots. Think about how dumb it is that we're all so bad at conflict management and how poorly most of us treat these situations. There are so many things in conflicts that we do that are so easy to change. Literally takes no effort, we just don't do them. And your ego plays a huge part in this. You get defensive when someone criticizes you, or the other party mentions something bad that you've done, so you feel the unavoidable urge to bring up that fairly similar thing that they did 3 years ago or something. I will give you more tips on this in the future, but one thing I can tell you right now that makes a huge difference to just keep in mind is that you should not use you statements. Stop saying you're doing this, you're doing that. Especially the "you're always" statements or "you never." It's very accusing. How could someone not feel attacked by it? After that, it's war. It's the easiest way to make someone defensive, and you want to avoid that. Instead, just say how you feel. It makes me feel bad when you talk to me like that because blah blah. Most importantly, stop it with the "you" statements. Damn it. The fourth and final awful truth is that much of the damage is unfortunately completely irreversible. And since most of that damage is not from the actual conflict, but from our dysfunctional strategies that we approach it with, we have to learn how to approach it. We have to learn how to actually handle conflict. Because they do come with permanent damage after all. Just try to imagine how many families that have been literally broken up because of this. Learning how to handle conflict better is very underrated. And not many people in the self-improvement community seem to talk about it. What many people do seem to talk about though is that relationships are important. It's fairly safe to say that a key to a happy life, according to most people, or one of the keys, is close, strong bonds, close relationships with people. And what breaks up close relationships? Conflicts. Where does most of the damage revolving conflicts come from? The way we handle them. So learn to handle them. The breaking up of relationships, whether it's a professional one or a friendship or a romantic relationship, is the most obvious example of permanent damage, but it doesn't have to be that dramatic either. You might say things that the other party never forgets because it really hurt them and it made an impact. This can potentially lead to a lot of long-term built-up resentment. So hopefully you've understood the importance of handling conflict now. I mean, I doubt anyone would say that it's not important if they got asked, but it's not something that people work on for some reason. Or I mean, I guess the same reason that people know it's good to work out or work on their mental health while they still don't do it. It takes effort. So put in the effort, brother. You can't afford not to. So go earn your sleep.